Hey everyone, it's FCA. We all know the bad points of playing video games. You know how they hurt your eyesight, your earsight, and they cause you to act more aggressively than you normally would. Now, while all of those things have medical and scientific studies to back them up, there are also downplayed good reasons that have just as many psychological and scientific studies, which is the same thing, to back them up. But the media doesn't like to play up anything that's good. So I'm going to give you the top 5 reasons for playing video games and why video games are good for you in real-life situations. Number 1, improved hand-eye coordination. Not only, and this should be a very obvious thing of why video games help with that, but in case you're wondering, it's because you're looking at a screen while moving your thumbs around, or your fingers, I guess, depending on how you play, or if you're playing a PC game versus like one that has a different controller. But this will improved hand-eye coordination helps you with cooking, baking, music reading, which you're playing the piano or you're strumming a guitar and you're reading a page. It helps with that, and it also helps with typing and tea and coffee making. 2, video games improve your spatial skills. Spatial skills is being able to remember where you are, what's in front of you, and just really get your bearings and a sense of your environment. If you have, this improves map reading, directions, both giving and taking directions, to be able to, really find yourself in space and in your space, and apply that for when you're moving. What also applies when you're moving is number 3, improved depth perception. You drive safer when you have better depth perception. You walk and run safer. And if you're wondering, well, how do you not walk safely? It's because if you have better depth perception, you have a better sense of, oh, that curve is slightly higher, or that drop from the curve is so far. Also, it helps with bird watching and photography and painting. And the reason why depth perception is good to have for photography and painting is because when you're playing video games, you're in a 2-dimensional world. You're looking at a 2-dimensional world that's trying to be 3-dimensional. And it gives you the illusion of 3D. And that's what you want for good photography and good paintings. It's a 2-dimensional space that's trying to be 3-dimensional, and when you can make it look like there's deeper space than what is actually present, that is a good painting. That is a good picture. Stuff like that. Number 4, detail pickup and visual cue perception. Now, I don't know if you know this, but biologically, men are worse at visual cue pickup and detail pickup. It's harder for them to notice slightly different color changes. It's harder for them to notice just intense details. Women are more likely to be able to pick up details and be more detail oriented than men are in general. Not for everybody, but in general, the average, the majority. And so improved detail pickup and improved visual cue perception means it's going to help you in makeup. So whether it's doing your own makeup or having somebody look at your makeup, people who play video games have a better time, especially if they're men who normally biologically have a harder time picking up that stuff, are more likely to notice slightly different hues, especially if you have one color here and another color here. They're more likely to pick that up. Painting, drawing, and sculpting, because if you're drawing or you're sculpting, or if you're doing Photoshop, details are very important, and you get better with that because when you play video games, slight details like a slightly different colored area means that's an area that you can or cannot go into, or that is bad versus that is good. This is something I can pick up. This is just a part of scenery, and that helps you. Also, it helps you in chemistry because a slightly darker or slightly lighter color can make all the difference in a chemical reaction. And chemistry can be applied to pharmaceuticals, drugs, sleep studies, just about anything chemistry, really improves upon. MRI scans, things like that. Different colors reveal different things. If you have poor detail pickup, it's easy to slide over those things. Visual cue perceptions help your relationship. How men are less likely to be able to tell the difference between facial expressions versus. You might think that that's obvious, especially because I just pointed it out, but if men really aren't paying attention, it's harder for them to notice slight, eyebrow changes or darkening of eyes. Women are able to pick up on that really well, and they don't understand that men are biologically less inclined to do that unless they work on it. Well, lucky for them, majority of video game players happen to be men. Not saying that there's not girl gamers, but there's a significantly higher amount of boys and men who play video games versus females. So this helps them in that area. Also, and number 5, the 5th reason why playing video games is good for you is improved critical thinking and problem-solving skills. People don't think about that part. They think that, it rots your brain to play video games, but it actually doesn't. It improves your brain skills because there's a lot of games that you have to figure out the enemy strategy and develop your own strategy. You have to be able to angle yourself for certain jumps. And if there's a puzzle involved where you have to step on things in a particular order or shoot at them in a particular order, then this improves your problem-solving skills, which can be applied later. Later in life, if you have a difficult word problem, you know how to pick out the steps that are important, because that's what you have to do in a lot of puzzle-based video games. Also, not all video games are super gory and violent, so only if you play super aggressive games does the aggression occur. I do have a study that I can link you to, which is a scientifically based study, which is called Detailed Record Visually Dependent Nonverbal Cues and Video Communication. The authors are Nguyen, David, and Tong, and this study was developed in Berkeley, California. So in case you wanted to look that up, there are hundreds of other studies that show the good things that come from video games. And I just wanted to tell you that I love video games, and those are the top 5 reasons why you should too. Bye!